Welcome everyone to another faction review. This week we have Saurian Starhost. I'm Philip, my co-host is Kieran.
What's up? This one's been big requested.
Yeah, so I haven't had much interaction with Saurian Starhost just because no one in our play group really plays it. But I actually have a Warhammer Fantasy Lizardman army, so since there were so many requests, I thought I'd give it a go. And whoa, my eyes are open. Um,
Yeah,
what do you think?
yeah. I've gasbagged about it, but still haven't actually started talking to you about running Saurian Starhost because I wanted to use like Halo Covenant miniatures. Um, but I've been banned from 3D printing more minis until I painted the last one. So
It
um,
it was just such a blast to get my old skinks out, and they're so good. Wow.
yeah,
Okay, let's talk about this army. So,
it turns out they're good. Yeah,
turns out they're good. Yeah, spoiler alert, they're good.
yeah.
All right. So their main army rule, primal. So for each unmodified roll of 6 to hit when attacking, you get to roll an additional attack. Doesn't apply to newly generated attacks. So it's like a combined relentless and furious, but of course you don't auto generate another hit. You have to roll based on your quality, but there's no conditions on it. You just get it for any kind of attack you make, which is really quite nice. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so some armies have this as an army wide, but the second attack is not an attack; it's just a hit. Like you said, there's usually conditions attached, even when there isn't. So, like the Battle Sisters, they just get the extra hit. It does mean that second hit doesn't get any special rules applied to it. Like it doesn't count as a six for the purpose of those special rules, which is the little unique part here, is that unfortunately you do have to roll to hit, which means the lower quality units don't gain as much value from it. But you can roll, for example, rending on that second attack anyway. And if you've already got a 3 or a 2 up to hit, it's almost like you're just getting it anyway.
It's also cheaper for that as well than the
Yeah,
sisters
yeah.
equivalent. Yeah, quite a nice rule. Like you mentioned, it is very sensitive to the quality of the unit. But there is ways to mess with it a bit to make it more in your favor. But yeah, as in terms of tabletop impact, I found it quite impactful.
Hmm.
So
It feels
for the
good.
yeah, it does. Now they have a mark. So once per activation, it's Bane mark. Once per activation before attacking, pick one enemy unit within 18, which friendly units get Bane against when attacking once. Um, Bane's nice. 60 points is a lot, but
Hmm.
in combination with their units, this army has a surprising amount of mass AP4.
Hmm.
And Bane AP4 is brutal. It
Hmm.
sucks to get hit by Bane AP4. Um,
Yeah. Like when your opponent has something that's high def, so def 2 or something, and then it's got regen as well, and you hit it with AP4, ignores regen, reroll sixes. it- It's just, it goes from this really tough thing to just nothing.
it's just
And
perfect
it's
conversion.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting where you can get the AP4 on this list as well. It's not on the super expensive stuff. So yeah, no, I mean, I think this, I would normally say Banemark is kind of a tough pick for a lot of the lists. It has its places. Mostly, it does well, like you said, with high defense or like stuff with regen. That's sort of its niche. This actually goes quite well with a few units. It's not the greatest mark across the list, but it can definitely see some use.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't take it in every list, but you can build around this. And if your enemy is taking things like those regenning hive tyrants, then this can punish that pretty badly. Um, all right, and they have one extra rule which is unique to them: protection feat. So this is on some of their units, quite a few of them, but not all of them. So once per game, when this unit takes wounds, and all its models have this rule, you may use this rule to roll one die per wound, and on a 4+, it's ignored. So this is after you know exactly how many wounds your squad has taken. You can choose to fire this and just halve the incoming damage. And it's 10 points for example on these Saurian Warriors. Um,
Yep.
this is incredible. This
Mm.
is game defining. Um, what do you think about protection feat?
Yeah. So between the two of us, I think I've tested Saurians as the player a few more games, and having been on both sides of this rule, um, to be honest, I think this is my biggest problem with the list is I genuinely think protection feeders are just a bit too good. Um, it's pretty ridiculous. So, like you said, the key factor here is that it's kind of like regen in that it's a ignores wound roll, but it's even better in the sense that though it's once per game, it's a 4-up, and you can choose not to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So you take all of your shots, see how many get through. Maybe there's one or two. Don't bother using it. Save it for something bigger. Then next round they get like 12 through. You go, yeah, I'll just remove half of them on average. It's meta changing for us potentially.
It is.
Kind of not actually, but it's kind of a weird middle ground, right? Because this makes them better at the whole high damage scout bomb than other people because their scout bomb will survive that first barrage, but it also makes every other scout bomb worse.
So we should talk
Because if you,
about this in context of the rest of the list because
yeah,
the Saurians have a scout aura, which means they can scout any unit they want, pretty much, as long as
yeah,
it's a group. Um, now, in combination with this, what that means is you can force an engagement right from the first activation of turn one with pretty much any unit you want. And in those first activations, if you're trading like haymakers, you're just trying to delete each other's units as fast as you can, your units just take half, which is insane. Because a lot of those lists build around the fact that they're going to delete a unit in response. A
mm,
6-man sapper squad pops out. They don't want to take a counterpunch. They're relying on the fact that whatever they flame is dead. If their enemy just straight up takes half damage and instead of killing 10 they kill 5, then they're dead in response and they didn't do their job. It's a huge difference.
mm,
This is incredible. And let's talk about it in the context of another thing. They can get it on big models. So you can get a tough 15 defense 2 with this. You could get tough 12 defense 2 transport with it. Which makes them so hard to deal with. Those 6 melters or whatever you're planning on deleting the tough 12, it's not going to do it anymore. It's just not.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, you before you're
Crazy.
worried about like hitting, and then if they had cover, they're rolling on a 5, so they might actually block some of them. And now just half of the ones that get through everything just disappear.
Yeah.
And for in the case of transport, that's that crucial first turn. If you can pop the transport before anything gets out, like that's usually a big swing factor in the game. But here, you'd be severely hard pressed. You'd need twice the damage output to really get through. Not to mention, of course, it's a tough 12 transport. But yeah, it's a high level of protection early on, and the great thing about it is probably like 66% of the units that can take it in this army are also fearless.
Mm.
So when you halve damage that was going to wipe out your squad, still get to half health, then you're looking at maybe a quality 4 plus fearless. You've also got that 75% chance to pass your morale. So it's that double whammy of you just keep staying in the game no matter what.
They can weather
Um,
punches that just destroy other armies. Just from this rule. It's not very expensive. Um, I'm actually okay with it being like this because I think that's a cool army feature. That they can. You just can't scout in and alpha strike these guys. They'll just do it better than you. So that's kind of cool that there's an army that like resists that concept.
hmm.
Um, yeah. What a
It
what a
would be
great rule though.
nice. Which makes me think maybe we haven't seen because we haven't played literally every army in OPR. We've got the ones that all of our friends play, and we've tried a fair few more. But there may be more armies within the system that have this sort of alpha strike defense that we just haven't seen yet, hidden within the lists. That could change our meta quite significantly. But to us, it does seem like that sort of kill unit, kill unit, kill unit does seem to be the way our games tend to go. So this definitely throws a huge spanner in the works. I'd be interested to see if people have other experiences than that. Maybe sort of everyone's playing super tanky and walking around with Def 3 or Def 2, infantry, low volume of shots in your meta. But having tried some of that without protection feat, it's felt a little bit on the weak side in our group. But with protection feat, you can run most things in this list and it'll be hard to stack up against them.
Yeah. It's you have to actually really think about how you're going to punch through this defense. So you do want to kind of drip feed wounds into them. Yeah, unlike normally where you just want to remove something, just throw everything you can at it. With this one, you kind of want to throw maybe three melters into it. 2 go through. Do you want to use your protection feat for that? You can instead of just going all out. So it changes the game. It's a very interesting mind game around this. But boy, it is very strong in practice.
Yeah, if we talk about it from it's one of those rules where we had to talk about it from the perspective of the opponent coming up against it more than actually you yourself using it. That if that really puts into reference how we feel about it. But that being said, at the end of the day, if you're playing Saurian Starhost at the current state of the game, I think we both take this on literally any unit that can.
Any chance you have to take this, it's worth dropping almost anything else to make sure that all units that can take this take it. It is that impactful. All right, so let's have a look at their spells. So, interestingly, they've got the option of a last level 4, which is kind of cool on their Slan equivalent. I love that. So what have they got for their spells? Toxin Mist, 1 cost. Pick one enemy unit with an 18, which friendly units get Bane when attacking against once. Perfect. I love it. Utility at 1 cost at 18 inches.
Bane
Good
mark
range.
spell. Like a lot of marks, putting it on a spell, it's just a nice place to get it from because you don't have to use it.
Yep. Big fan of that. When you need Bane, when those zombies are around, or the guardsmen, or you just really want to get through that defense 2 regen guy, then here it is. It's there for you. Serpent Comet. Pick one enemy unit within 12 inches, which takes 2 hits with Disintegrate. This is their unique weapon rule. It ignores regen, and against enemy units where most models have defense 2 or 3, you get +2 AP. It's fine. No real notes, really. It's similar to most of the other spells like this. I kind of like Disintegrate as a rule.
It's usually on the fusion weapons or the melter equivalents.
So you get a discount, and you with the bonus of getting rid of regen as well.
Exactly, because I mean, at defense 4+, you only want AP2 anyway. The one niche that it doesn't do is if they're defense 4+ with like fortified or something like that, or shielded to get that extra +1. That's like the one situation where the Disintegrate is at a disadvantage to just -2 extra AP at all times. But then this also ignores regen, and it'll be cheaper, I imagine. I haven't looked inside the army
Calculation.
What's it called? Calculation, yeah.
So Fateful Guidance for 2, pick 2 friendly units within 12, which get Furious once. Now, this is something to talk about. So Primal and Furious can both trigger at the same time. So you can, let's say you roll a 6 to hit with your unit that's got Furious and Primal. You get an automatic hit from Furious, and then you get to re-roll another hit with Primal. That Primal re-roll also has the Furious keyword. So potentially every attack could have 4 hits with these 2 keyword combined. Not likely.
Yep, you roll 2 6s, you get 4 hits. I mean, it's a 1 in 36 chance. That's not even that unlikely,
and a
right?
1 in 6 chance to get 3.
Hmm.
You know, you have to roll I guess you have to roll the other primal, but yeah, it's pretty good, especially when you start doing things like blasts. You can do blast melee weapons. There's some squads that can run that, and then you just blast 12 something with AP2. Yeah, pretty good if you're running with that.
Yeah. I mean, you cast it if you're gonna run a bunch of melee guys, which honestly, you can run this army pretty melee focused or pretty range focused or anywhere in between. It really is up to you. You get all the options.
In combination with the scout, yeah,
Mm.
you can run some nasty melee guys that are tanky. So, Piranha Curse. Pick up to 2 enemy units within 9, which takes 4 hits each. Sure. Double hit spell. Fine. Any notes on that one?
No. I mean, it's 8 hits. Is that more than usual or about the same, I think?
Pretty much par. See
Yeah.
that in a few different lists. Celestial Roar. Pick up to 3 friendly units within 12, which get Primal Boost once. I really like Primal Boost. There's other ways to get it. So I don't know if I'd spend 3 points on it, but it is a big boost in output. What do you think about it?
Well, it's definitely an option. Whether or not you use it or not is, yeah, it's pretty much up to you. Look, if you don't have other sources of primal boost, then this will apply it. It's a good rule, like you said. 5s and 6s for the extra hits is a lot nicer. But again, primal is a ability that scales with how high your quality is anyway. So if you've got a lot of like geckos in your list, then you might not even want 3 different units to get the boost because you won't get much out of it being on geckos, as compared to maybe Saurian Guardians or something. So
The
yeah,
flamer, the
I
scouting
wouldn't build
flamer
for
dudes.
this. Yeah, that is something that it does work well on. I wouldn't take it for this unless you were doing a weird list that's focused around it. But yeah, it's fine.
And finally, Jaguar Blaze for 3. Pick 1 enemy unit within 12 inches, which takes 6 hits, AP1 Shred. I like AP1 Shred. It's a bit expensive for me.
Hmm.
What do you think about it?
I think in almost all cases, right, I'd rather cast Piranha Curse and maybe Serpent Comet at the same time or Toxin Mist.
Yeah, I'd cast Toxin Mist and yeah, something else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you get to even with those two attack spells from low levels in the same turn, that just gives you even more targets you can hit as well. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want the specific rules, you could cast it with Jaguar Blaze. Otherwise, yeah, I'd go for the lower level ones.
all right, so let's have a look at their hero abilities. So, start with the Frog Mages. So they got Counterattack Aura. So you always get to fight first when charged. There's some squads which have good shooting and the option of double melee attacks as well.
Mhm.
So you could, if you did want to just get close with, say, shotguns and have the option of 2 quality 3 melee attacks with no AP as well that are just going to fire off first, it's there. I struggle to fit it in lists though, just because there's of the other options. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I was really excited to see what units would be well designed to benefit from the counterattack. And really there's only one infantry unit that I think has any benefit from it, and that's the Guardians.
Yeah.
Which seeing this is yeah, it's Lizardmen, right? So seeing this as Saurian Warriors being upgraded into Temple Guardian. Are they called Temple Guards
Temple
in
Guards.
yeah, it's like it makes sense because they're protecting the Slan Priest, the Frog Mage, or you know the Sangheili protecting the prophets in Halo. But yeah, so that's clearly seems to be what it's used for. Like you said, 2 attacks shotgun and then 2 attacks no AP and melee, counter attack. It looks like that's what it's for, but is that really a profile I want to get excited about? Less
My
so.
my problem with this is the shooting units that are actually scary. They don't have great melee on top. They have just okay melee. There's not like really strong melee and really strong shooting. There's really strong melee, no shooting, or good shooting, okay melee. So it's not like it's not even that scary for the amount of investment you're going to be putting in once you put a character in with counterattack and I don't know.
That's the thing. I thought maybe if you could somehow get a melee buff as well, that would make this actually quite a powerful ability. But then I've just now realized, of course, the Furious spell doesn't even work for that because
only primal.
Furious is only on the charge. So yeah, it's just primal. But I mean, to be fair, 3 up to hit with primal.
Pretty spooky.
It's almost just an extra hit by default anyway. So yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think you would want to build for it. In that particular case, I'd probably rather even have the primal boost buff.
All right. Well, speaking of building for it, we got Scout Aura.
Yep.
Everyone knows what Scout does. So this gives your model and its unit Scout. This is incredible. I love Scout. It's pretty much my favorite rule. I abuse it all the time. And this makes it so you can just scout your whole army if you wanted to. Or you can just scout key units that have specific jobs that otherwise shouldn't be able to do that. You just get the deployment advantage over your opponent automatically. It's incredible.
Yeah, the units that you would use this on tend to be tanky, because everything that is lighter in this list probably already has Scout or some other mobility built into it. So this means like you can hit that midfield right from the start of the game, and you're doing it with
terrain.
In the best terrain with really thick units with quite good damage output. Protection feed as well, so they're sustaining that first turn shot back. It's just real good early board control. If you got progressive scoring as well, same thing always with Scout. Yeah, it's strong.
No notes with Scout. I'm gonna have to do a video, I think, on Scout because I'm so enthusiastic about it. But yes, this is an incredible upgrade. Yeah, you can build your entire army around this just on its own. Any more notes about Scout?
No.
All right. So unique to the Frog Mage, you can get Caster 4. That's cool. I like it. I wouldn't always pick it because I could give him Scout Aura, but I think that's just a funny option.
I practically, it's a funny option. That's a good way to put it. I practically never pick it because, ironically, as someone who always complains about not having enough caster points in other lists, I don't want to cast the 3 cost spells in Saurian, and he's already a caster 3, so I really feel like I have extra.
This is just a nice nod to the lore, because a Slan should just kick ass at casting, and you know what? He's caster 4, so those people who just want a really awesome frog wizard, here it is. He's the best frog wizard. Great.
Wrong lore, but whatever.
So primal boost buff. So key, this is not aura, this is a buff. So you can give it to a unit within 12 inches when he activates, and now they do a primal boost on a 5 or 6 instead of just a 6. Really quite nice. This goes well with, like you mentioned, high quality units, or units with reliable. But even things like geckos with quality 5, they appreciate the fact that they can just spike a little bit more. That's just good.
I mean, anything that increases hits is good, right? But like you said, the real key part is that it's a buff. It's when this unit activates, put on someone else. So, and this is this one being available on the Frog Mage is great because he's probably the only of the heroes that I consider running around by himself because he can be supremely tanky. And he's a caster, so he may want to move around separately anyway.
I would also put on a Gecko Champion for me.
That's a good point. Yeah.
He's the only other one, but yeah.
Yeah. Fair call. Actually, I think about my list. I did put on the Gecko Champion. Yeah. No, it's a good one to put on. Because also I don't think you'd be taking most of the other upgrades on this guy, so it's a good option.
And then we got rending when shooting aura. I love rending shooting, and you can get some mass shots in here. Rending with primal combines nicely because you can get an extra rending shot potentially with your primal. And just rending in general is just a really good rule to have. What do you think about rending when shooting aura?
Yeah, so this aura is good. We've seen it before. It's really good when you have high volume, low quality shots, because you get more triggers of rending, and it turns normal hits into AP4, and ignores regen. This army has a couple options where you get a ton of extra shots with your units, and they're either 1 AP or none. So this stacks well with those. Although interestingly, your like first cheapest infantry unit will get pretty much no benefit from this rule, which is funny to think about.
That's okay. They're good enough on their own.
They definitely are.
So let's have a look at some of the other ones. So we got Rapid Charge on the Gator Veteran. I like Rapid Charge.
Mhm.
Can't really combine it up with Scout though, so you'd have to think about how you're going to be using it because Scout is going to be better in 80% of situations. What do you think about Rapid Charge?
That's the thing about rapid charge. It's good. It's great. It only applies to the charge action. Doesn't apply to run. So you're equivalent of fast, but only when charging. Which means if they're outside of the charge range, you don't get to move, 16
16.
inches up to get closer. So that first turn trying to get across the board to get up to them is just at normal speed. I mean, it makes that second turn more guaranteed charge, but you could do the same thing by just starting in Scout. And it's not like the units that you would take this on don't have, protection feat, potentially 3-up armor and fortified anyway. So yeah, look, it's a good rule, and there's certain units that could use it okay, and I've definitely tried out, and I definitely enjoyed using it. But yeah, it's a hard to compete with the Scout.
Yeah, it's just a little bit overshadowed. We've got any others? Same, and we've got a caster 2, and that's it. Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah.
so let's go into our first hero then, the Frog Mage. So he's quality 3, defense 3. He's caster 3 base. He's got fear 1, fearless, primal, strider, tough 6. He's got a 12-inch 3 attack rending, and then he's got 6 attacks in melee. Not many upgrades, but he's got the option of a semi melter. You can get more range on your 3 attack. You can get fortified on him, which is nice, and protection feat, which is just lovely. One thing to note with protection feat: if you are putting a hero into a unit, they all need to have it, so your hero has to match. So just keep that in mind. But
Also,
yeah.
Also of note for fortified, so your options for putting a leader in one of your units which gets fortified is fairly restricted. So if you take that unit, it's the Saurian Guardians. They can take, fortified. You'd need to use the Frog Mage if you wanted to put a leader in this squad, because he's the one that can get fortified as well.
If you were giving him fortified, it's an optional upgrade, but it's a
Yeah,
very good
it's
one.
10 points for ignore 1 AP. It's
Pretty nice.
It's a good upgrade. But both of those are really good. I mean, even if he's by himself, 25 points, and now he's got that 4-up regen once per game. And
This is a mandatory click for me. A tough 6 with defense 3, fearless. Just give him protection feat for 10 points. That's crazy. Even if you're running him on his own. Yeah, should we run him on his own? So yeah, there's some funny things you can do with him. He can run with geckos, which have a quality 5, and he can scout them. If you want to scout them, there's different ways to run geckos, but he can scout them, and then he gives them a quality 3, and he's bringing his caster 3 up to the front line, and he's protected by the geckos, and he's giving them the higher quality. He can roll around on his own. He's a defense 3, tough 6 with protection feat. He's reasonably tanky. Yeah, he's a pretty cool frog. What do you think? How would you be running him?
So there's two sort of ways that I thought of it. To me, if I want a Frog Mage in the list, if I want a caster, I use the Frog Mage. And then I think, which aura do I want? Which of his upgrade auras to use? And if he needs to be in a squad, so if I want him making a squad rending with shooting, or if I want that in my army, that's a great thing for him to be put into. If I want that counterattack, which I probably don't, if I want that scout aura, then that's a reason to put him in a squad. But to be honest, my default's going to be the primal boost buff on his own. I'm going to slap on fortified and protection feat. Maybe I'll swap out his gun for a different gun if I feel like it. Maybe the melter. But I don't know if you have problems with tanks in this list, to be honest. But yeah, those are the sorts of thoughts I would have on him. I'd run him on his own. He's that tanky. He's kind of hard to peel anyway.
Yeah, and there's some pretty cool utility he can bring to the list.
Mm.
And I guess we'll get to it when we get to Gecko Champion, but he does have spell conduit support as well, so you can really make that caster 3, caster 4 go a long way, which is nice. So yeah, pretty cool caster. We'll go to Gator Vet. Okay, so quality 4, defense 3. He's got Fear Fearless, Primal Tough 6. Comes stock with 2 AP1 Blast 3s and 2 Stomps. And he's got all these options, so you can just run a ton of shotgun attacks. That's what, 8 shotgun attacks, and you can run an extra 3 limited unstoppable ones if you want, for a total of 11 shots. Pretty nice. 10 points for a protection feat. Slam that.
Auto pick.
Yep. But you can run him melee too, and he can scout his boys when he's running melee as well, which is quite nice. How do you like your Gator Vet?
So yeah, there is 2 ways to run him, and that's shooting or melee. It's pretty clear from the list here. Definitely my preference is shooter. So max out on heavy shooter. I do rapid missile pod. I do protection feat, and then I give him rending when shooting, and I put him in a squad of Gators doing the exact same thing, and that's a very deadly, very scary unit.
How many shots are we looking at here? So we got 12 shots plus 3, 15, 30, and he brings 13 of his own. No, 11 of his own.
Yep.
So 41 shots.
41 shots
on the first turn, and then it goes down with the limited after that. But that's a lot of shots with rending.
It only goes down by 9.
Yeah.
Because that 9 was, let's not forget, unstoppable shots too. So it's pretty funny into a flyer.
Or artillery.
Or artillery. Or like if they've got stealthy scouts in the first round. There's a lot of different unique options for the rapid missile pod. The fact that it's also a split fire capable weapon, excellent too. That's how I'd run him.
When he's in the squad, this is a very serious split fire weapon just on his own. 8 shotgun shots.
I don't think it is. I think they're both heavy shooters.
No. I mean, when he's in his squad, are they really? They're both exactly.
Sure yep. Yeah, they've got the same name, heavy shooter.
Oh, even though they've got different profiles.
Oh, actually, is it heavy shooters? No, it is just heavy shooter.
It's just heavy shooter. I think you can't split fire them then because they have the same name, even though they have different profiles. How interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's based on the name.
I think it
is. Which is
too.
why when you get sergeant weapons, they're called like leader's X weapon usually. So my instinct would be you couldn't split it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Dealer's choice with these, I think Scout Aura and Rending when shooting Aura are the standout options here, and he's pretty nasty. He's not terrible just on his own either, by the way. Just a tough 6 dude with defense 3, protection feat, just running around with 8 shots on a shotgun for 165 points with fearless and fear.
Yeah, and he could be scouting.
Yeah, he could scout himself if he wanted to. Run around on his own.
You can build him for melee as well. I think the Gators are. If it depends what you want in a melee unit. With these guys, you do have some options for like light melee, but definitely for Gators and Saurian Guardians, you're looking at the tankier options. So if you prefer your like really big chunky high toughness as well, tanky guys, these are your best bet. If you prefer like heavily armored elites, maybe less toughness, then you go with the Saurian Guardians. So you've got both options here. So these Gator Vets work really well.
Yeah, I think that.
Either way, to be honest.
Let's have a look at some Saurian Vets. So, go into it. He's got quality 3, defense 3, fearless, primal. You can, of course, get protection feat for 5 points. And look at this upgrade, Tyrannosaur. He gets 12 more wounds, so he goes up to tough 15. He gets fear 2, he goes to defense 2, and he gets all these extra attacks. And you know what's funny? Your armor 2 and your tough 15 now, and your protection feat is still 5 points. Love it. So this guy, so he can run into squads and things. So he can't, of course, be in a squad with the Tyrannosaur, but he can run with the Raptors. He can run with the Sacred Vets. He can run with the normal Saurians or whoever he wants. And he's pretty good because he confers his quality 3 to a lot of those squads. And he's got the nice scout aura and things like that. But as a piece on his own, he's a tough 15 defense 2 scout with melee and protection fit. He's such an annoying piece on the board. This is auto pick for me. He's so annoying.
I certainly wouldn't go as far as auto pick, but it is hard to argue with a tough 15 defense 2 scout with 12 attacks and melee just right in your face.
I should caveat it. He is not an offensive piece because he doesn't have crazy offense. Even when you buy him a weapon, it's a melee weapon. It's, he's only get 2 extra AP4 attacks. What he is a crazy utility defense piece because he just sits in the middle of the board and he's almost impossible to get rid of. And you have to still respect him because he can still beat up squads and he's giving his primals boost buff. And he's very hard to deal with tough 15 defense 2 protection feat.
It's also crazy to see how he interacts with those high offense melee units like your combat walkers, because on that first charge where that combat walker's expecting to mince his health, he can just pop that protection feat and
just doesn't care.
Yeah, ends up winning the combat somehow out of that. It's a spooky unit, I'll grant you that. I don't think it's quite an auto take. I think you've got enough excellent pieces in the army. You don't necessarily need this, but it is very good. That's the other thing you didn't mention. It gets that primal boost buff as well.
Yes, it does. With the Tyrannosaurus.
With the T-Rex. So it becomes a buffer as well as being a heavy tank. It's pretty crazy.
It spooks your opponent because it's right in their face. It's huge. It looks scary, and it's giving buffs. So they want to unload. You just want to unload your AT into it, but it just won't care for that first turn. It's gonna live. Doesn't matter what it is, which is perfect because you just know you can just bait that out and just counterpunch if it's a glass cannon. Such a good unit, and it's right in the middle of the board doing things right from turn 1. Yeah, okay. I've talked enough about Tyrannosaurus. I love it. Any other ways would be running this guy. Of course, running when shooting is pretty nice. With he goes well in Saurian Warriors because he does improve their quality for their morale and things. So it's a good way to get that in a base Saurian Warriors squad.
Yeah, he can go on the Guardians as well. He's basically the units that you'd end up taking him in. He's just like a discount option to using the Frog Mage. So if you don't really care about the caster side of things and you just want the aura on the squad, you're better off going with Saurian Vet, especially because it'll save you a bunch of points with that upgrade, versus just putting a Frog Mage in. I think that's the niche he fills. Yeah, there's also the option to potentially put him just as a quality buff commander for geckos or something like that. But because there's some rules that just won't cross over, that does kind of restrict you with those units. But the option is there if you need it.
Yeah. Not really much to say. Really, really good unit. I highly recommend this Tyrannosaur. It's so annoying to verse.
It is quite spooky. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Gecko Champion. So he's quality 5, defense 5. Pretty low quality, but he's got Primal Strider. He's got a 3 attack gun, AP1, and he's got a two attack melee weapon. Now he can have lots of different random upgrades. So he can have the bounding impact if he wants to run with the Gecko Cavalry. He can run teleport if he wants to run with the Gecko Cohort. You can run Scout Good Shot Evasive if you want to run with the Chameleons. He can have Spell Conduit, which doesn't eat your Gecko Champion upgrade, which is really nice. Pterodactyl and Ripjawdactyl. And of course, Protection Feet for 5. Okay. I like this guy a lot. I really like this Ripjawdactyl. Yep. So he comes base with the Precision Target 1, which means that once per game, when he activates, he can just put a +1 marker on an enemy unit, and the entire army for the rest of the game gets +1 to hit against that unit, which is so nice. He gets Heavy Impact 3, he gets a little bit of extra toughness, combination with a protection feat and a shield. He's actually like a little bit tanky now, comes with ambush to be annoying. Kind of cool. And he doesn't need any of these upgrades, but you can do things like primal boost buff and stuff. But I mean, you can run him however you want. He's good with the scout aura. How would you be looking at him?
Yeah, I think we'll see a bit later, but basically the Ripjawdactyl option is a cheaper option to have a Gecko Champion kitted out as a Ripjawdactyl to get that precision target than to go with the squad itself. So just as a buff, he can do that. Then you can have him by himself. You can throw in the primal boost buff. So he's even more buff based. I like to also give him, instead of just the shield, I give him the lance and shield.
The lance and shield.
Yeah, so you go default on the close combat weapon.
Yeah.
And then up. Replace gun with shock lance.
Just to give him that +1 to hit.
Exactly. Well, no, it's the shock lance is
3 attack AP4
melee. Yeah, but 3 attacks, so you're getting at least 1 hit on it. Probably more if you're precision targeting it, and AP4 means it'll probably go through in the end. We'll get to that when we get to Gecko Cohort. But basically, he's that second charge when they're already broken, where that heavy impact and the shock lance together are very likely to cause them to rout. That's his combat usage to me, and then his main use is dropping that precision target and that prime boost buff, and tagging objectives, floating around. 170
just a fast
points.
Flying thing that runs around still doing other stuff. That ambushes if you need it. It's good for your mission.
Yeah.
Cool. Are we running him any other way?
You can run him other ways, but then you've got to think, what do you run heroes for, really? Usually it's because they can do something on their own or for the aura they impart on the squad they're in. Now, in terms of auras, the units you want to run him with don't really benefit from him being in the squad. You may as well not have the auras on those units, which means he's better off run by himself. So yeah, either primal boost buffing, maybe caster, but I'd rather take the frog mage in almost any case. And then the other option that you might like a bit more than me would be that spell conduit as an option.
Yeah, I think the spell conduit is a good shout. You can potentially scout him so he runs off with the geckos, and then he's up with a frog mage helping out. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I like this guy's utility.
Yeah, right, I'd probably only take him as a Ripjawdactyl though.
I think that's definitely the best option. So let's have a look at some troops. Gecko Cohort. Oh boy. All right. Quality 5, defense 5. Go ahead.
Most interesting unit in the army, I think.
So weird. It is, yeah. Quality 5, defense 5, primal shielded strider. They come base with 12-inch attack 1 AP4 pistols and just 5 attacks with shielded to get them to defense 4. They have protection feat, which is absolutely key. You can replace the energy shields to get 2 attacks, and they get teleport, which means they can do at any point before attacking, they can just move 6 inches, even during movement and things. So they can do a 12-inch move and then blast you at 12 inches as well. This unit is super cool.
Mm.
So teleport is incredible. Protection feat is incredible. The
Mm.
very cheap defense 4 is really good, and they've got these shock pistols which are good into everything. Combines well with the Bane, and when you start and you think, I know what everyone's thinking. Quality 5, who cares? Like they're not going to hit very much. Ripjawdactyls, get them to quality 3, primal, and suddenly defense like tough 12 defense 2 stuff is worried now. I've done
Mm.
10 wounds with a squad of these into defense 2.
Oh
No
yeah.
problem at all with one squad. Um, and they're cheap. Even with their upgrades, they're 220 combined, and you got 10 AP4 attacks, and their Strider teleport, so they're just moving all over the board. And oh yeah, okay, you're annoyed at them now. You want to kill them? Protection feat. You know your 6 flamers that you put into them. Sorry, you didn't kill them. Um,
Mm.
ooh, what a squad. What do you think about them?
Well, this is that prime example of that scout resistance we talked about. Short range pistols with teleport. Obviously, these things are supposed to yeet up the board, get right up in your opponent's face. Usually, you'd be worried about shotguns popping out and shooting them, but chances are, when they try that, just pop that protection feat, halve the wounds that come through, and they just blew like a key unit, a key piece in their army, trying to take out what? Yeah, 110 points per 5 unit. You know, even cheaper if you don't take some of the upgrades, but you probably should.
I think so.
And yeah, it's the real elephant in the room about this unit is that the shock pistols. Uh, at the end of the day, AP4 is just too good. It's just excellent. Like think of it just without the upgrades, without the bonus to hit from precision target. What are we looking at now? So 5 guys hitting on 5s, so about 1/3 of them hit. You get one and a bit hits from this squad at 85 points base, but usually when you're trying to balance out having a bit of AP and a bit of a good chance to hit, you get sort of a decent amount of hits through at the end. In this case, any hits you get through are basically already wounds because that AP4 just wipes out defense stats. There are a few armies that might, in cover and then also fortified and then also 2 up, like dwarves, that have more resistance to this, but every army, that dwarf army has resistance to every other army. In this particular case, most enemies that you come up against are just not going to get a save against that AP4, which means this punches harder than you think it does, even though it's only quality 5.
And you say like one and a bit, but they can spike hard.
They can.
So yeah, if you roll hot and you roll 3 6s and then you got a primal, 1 or 2 primals in there, oh boy, you just took 5 hits
Yeah.
with AP4.
The,
So
Whenever we do
it's
calculations of averages, it's always important to remember that it doesn't take into account variance or essentially just how high a number of hits you can get. It only does it based on average and percentages and that sort of stuff. You really need to factor in, like you said, the fact that every single one of these shots can end up being 2 hits. And sometimes the dice will treat you with that. And it's the fact that they can do that that makes your opponent just have no choice but to respect this unit.
exactly.
And you paid 100 and something points for it. Who cares if they kill it?
And
I
they got the
mean,
protection feat, so they want to be targeted. It's a cheap thing with protection feat. Please shoot them. They'll
yeah.
still teleport away and just keep doing their thing.
Also, defense 5 shielded means defense 4. That's no longer light infantry. That's medium infantry. That's up there with like breaches, things like that. It's not quite your battle brothers, but it's also not your guardsmen. It's in between. It's surprisingly tanky.
Yeah, and as we were saying, the Ripjawdactyl bait, which gives everything +1 to hit. Oh, these guys love that.
Mm.
So you can a squad that looks innocuous, 10 geckos just hanging around. Suddenly, 2 of those baits can go off with an activation, and these guys turn murderous. instantly.
Yeah, and the great thing about that bait, the precision target, is that it's permanent on that unit. So
Mm-hmm.
it sticks around. As many of your units as you want can take advantage of it until that enemy unit is dead. So you never feel bad for hitting a marked target with your cheap sort of Gecko unit because, hey, if they don't get through, that's all right. The +1's still there for someone else to use.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, there's every chance that, 10 geckos will kill a Baneblade.
And they can go into those single toughness units as well. Just that nice versatility of not having deadly on the AP4. It's just anti-infantry and it's anti-tank. It's just a really great unit. Highly recommend these. Are they must take? They're must take for me.
Yeah. Originally,
so.
when I saw this list, I thought the scouting option would be, but these are, I feel these are actually better. The teleport basically means scout anyway.
They don't actually need that much support in their unit.
Exactly.
All right.
Keep them cheap, but definitely keep them.
Definitely. All right, so Saurian Warriors, quality 4, defense 4, fearless primal. They come with one-shot pistols at 12 inches and 2 close combat attacks each. They've got protection feet. You can change the pistols and 2 close combat attacks to double carbine at 18 inches and a single close combat weapon. And you have the option to get some special weapons in there. The only notable one is the beam gun, which is it's the equivalent of a melter, but it ignores regen. All the others are standard. I like these. So the reason I like these, they're pretty cheap. They've got the protection feat. They've got enough quality and defense, and they've got a combination of fearless, which is huge for me. I love fearless on my infantry. And they can just run stock carbines, so they're just a threat for pretty cheap points. That's hard to get rid of, and they're going to pass morale and just be really annoying. What do you think about Saurians?
Yeah, Saurians are great. They're not that special sauce that the Gecko Cohort is, but again, quality 4, def 4 is medium infantry. It's in that middle ground. It's fearless, so it's got more staying power. It's primal, so it's got those extra shots. Protection feat, excellent on these guys. I mentioned before, if your opponent was capable of wiping out this squad, that stack of protection feat with fearless means, hey, sorry, buddy, he's still on the board.
Do it again.
Do it again. Yeah. You can leave him with 2 attacks melee, but I think, in my experience, that 18-inch double shot range that you get in carbines is a very good weapon at the moment. It outranges the sort of flame as that 12-inch short range scout, and so it's got more options to shoot, and it's still 2 attacks. It doesn't pay too much for the extra range compared to as you start to get 24, 30, and you lose out on attacks in exchange. It's a really ideal sweet spot for me. In terms of upgrade weapons, like you said, beam guns there as an option. To be honest, I just run it with mass carbines.
Same.
Because this is...
None of these really excite me, this unit.
Yeah, this is also the first of 2 units that you would want that shooting weapons gain rending aura on. So 10 of these with carbines with rending is 20 rending shots hitting on 4s, plus the leader as well.
375, and he's giving them rending, he's giving them quality 3.
Oh, you got to
put 3 extra shots
as well.
Hmm?
Yeah, you got to put Sacred Feet.
Ah, yes. 5 more points. 380.
Yep.
Very reasonable. Very reasonable. And 260 if you just wanted to run them on their own, which is great. That's a good price for a tough.
Yeah, I mean it's 60 points over your unit cap, 200 points per unit, sort of average goal, which means, yeah, and I'd see these outperforming against most sort of infantry.
Interestingly,
just because of how tanky they are.
The Bane spell and the Bane mark combine up perfectly between the Geckos and the Saurians, because the Geckos have the AP4 covered, so they'll benefit from it from that, and the Saurians have the mass shots, no AP covered. So whether it's chaff or whether it's something really heavy, got value with Bane with one of these units, which is cool.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Really good. I like Saurian Warriors. Let's go to Chameleons. So quality 5, defense 5, evasive, good shot, primal, scout, strider. Nice rules there. You have the option. You can either choose 12 inches, you can basically have shotguns, or you can have 18-inch AP1 precise carbines, giving them +1 to hit on top of their good shot for a 3-up at 18 inches. They can have an ambush beacon, so things can ignore restrictions in terms of where they can be placed, and Bane Mark. The Bane Mark. A little bit too squishy for a Bane Mark for me, but I like this unit. So, evasive, very good rule to have on scouts just to make them a little bit more hard to get rid of. I like their good shot just to give them a little bit more value. So they're nice and cheap with their quality 5, but they still shoot pretty hard with their precise carbines or with their shotguns. Scout Strider, perfect for 1, getting their shots off straight away, being a problem right on the enemy's board, and late game, they're just going to be out just threatening all the objectives with their Strider. Just really good. What do you think about Chameleons?
It's I think I've talked about it before, but that the small 5-man scouting shotgun unit is just a nice piece to have in any list. Lets you defer scout deployments on your opponent's side, so you drop one of these, so you drop something more important that he's using to scout, so you can counter it with your better scout unit. But also, yeah, I mean, 10 shotgun shots never going to go amiss. I think this is one of those no upgrades unit for me.
I don't think they
In
need
your
these.
case, you do kind of consider the extra range on that precision carbine.
And the
I'd
+1
rather
to
just
hit.
the extra shots.
Yeah,
+1 to hit, nothing to scoff at.
I'm never going to argue with shotguns. Shotguns are fantastic, but I do like for this unit that's so vulnerable in melee, their quality 5, defense 5, just to have the 18 inches and they get the +1 to hit on top, just to make it a little bit more of a fair trade. Yeah, I kind of like that. They're a more defensive option. This is aggressive. This is defensive. Pick your option. They're both good.
And the universality of evasive versus stealth that a lot of equivalent options get. That it applies at all times, there's no range limit, and it applies in melee, gives them an amount of tankiness that I think buffing up to Def 4 just wouldn't do. That neg 1 to be hit, I think, hits harder in most cases versus getting up to Def 4.
Yeah, they can bully. You can choose to deploy them against quality 5 units and just bully them. Just halve their output in. Yeah, I like Chameleons. Just to get that. I mean, it's not like it's hard to get Scout in this list, but this is unsupported Scout that's quite cheap. Put little 5-mans everywhere.
Thought it was a must-take at first, but after having played around a bit more with the list and seen just what Gecko cohorts can do, these actually don't jump in by default to my lists, I think, for Saurians, where usually some shotgun scouts would. So despite being a great option and a great version of shotgun scouts, I think they just have some other things in this list that I'd rather take with those same points.
Now, everyone notice we haven't really just there hasn't been a bad option yet. And you've just knocked back scouting shotguns as like a auto take option. So that's showing the strength of the list so far.
Saurian, auto take for you?
Yes. You give me Scout Strider with decent shooting, evasive on top, I'm taking it. Just as a cheap activation that's very annoying and plays the objective game extremely well. Yeah. It's good enough for me. That's an auto take for me. Saurian Guardians. So this is the upgrade Saurian Warriors. They're quality 3, defense 3. They got fearless still. They've come base with AP2 to attack melee weapons. They've got protection feed, of course. You can change your hammers into blasts, or at least 1 per 5. They have the option of fortified, the whole unit for 10 points, which is an excellent upgrade. And you can change your melee into 2 or shotguns with 2 attacks, just normal, no AP. Cool unit. How would you be running these guys?
Yeah, so this is the one unit that I think could potentially get any use out of counterattack aura. It's obviously the one that it's designed for. As we discussed, you go the mace shots with the 2 attacks and then with the mace on the side. Because then, yeah, 2 attacks each model in melee makes it worth fighting in melee. And then they've got shotguns. Yeah, except I probably would never take that because there are better 12-inch options in the Chameleons and Gecko Cohort. I'm taking them with that 2-attack AP2 hammer. That's a great weapon.
Great hammers as
There's
well.
uh
Just
yeah,
think
I mean
about the Primal and the Furious.
it does. That's what I was gonna say. It does combo with Primal at default, and you're quality 3, so you're probably getting the confirmed hit on that second roll. But yeah, look, who doesn't? What does AP2 2 attacks work poorly against? You know, your opponent needs to be defense 5 up for it to be partially worthless, or like partially not great because you know only need AP1 against them. But in any other defense profile or any better defense profile, AP2 is good. It's good against 2-up saves. It's good against 3-up saves. It's so versatile a weapon. It's not quite as good as an AP4 melee in the sense that it won't peel tanks as hard, but it also won't be wasted on infantry.
And it's cheap.
It's the bang on middle ground. It's cheaper. And these guys are again quality 3, def 3, fearless primal. They're
Very
tanky.
reliable.
They'll hit. They're fortified. Yeah, it's a great unit. I love this unit. How you deliver them, I think, is something definitely to consider. These ones I wouldn't walk up the board by themselves as much as I would the Gators, but you have a few options. So you can scout them with your Saurian Vet. You can use Rapid Charge to still get that hit in, early hit in combat. Or you can slap them in a transport. I think all of these are completely valid options for the unit. I'm
It's a
probably
scary
taking
1-2
them.
punch their transport and the Saurian Guardians, because the transport's no slouch in melee as well.
Yeah,
And it's also tough. So this is actually, yeah, it's pretty scary to put in a transport. And it's actually
it is.
not, I'm not as worried about it being so expensive either, because that transport is not going to die.
Exactly. And it's going to even better. It's going to survive that first turn specifically while they're being transported, which is usually the most vulnerable turn for a transport. Protection feat again. I think it's too good. But yeah, in the case of
Don't
Saurian
change it,
Guardians,
Tano. It's perfect. Just leave it as is.
Tano, please.
Just leave it.
He's
It's
going to
perfect.
start playing Saurians every match. I did threaten him if he kept running shotgun scouts and heavy flamer sentinels with HDF. I'd just come to every match with Saurians until he stopped.
I'll never stop.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this unit, very good. Just reliable and good. Good options. No notes, really.
again, still haven't hit anything that we thought was bad.
No,
But bear
I
with
think you're
us.
right. It's Triceratops or it's Scout. Pick one of those. I wouldn't walk apart from that.
Yeah, you can do the extended charge range option if you want. I've done it, but I've run into that problem where I'm outside of 16, so I've got to run 12, which
If they had
doesn't get me as
Strider,
far
I'd
as I want.
consider it, but no Strider.
No Strider
Your
does
enemy
make it
could
hard
play
to.
around stuff. Makes
That
me worried.
specifically happened in our first game with it.
Yeah, I saw you had that, and I'm like, I'm gonna fight here. Um,
Yeah.
so all right, so let's have a look at another one. So we go Gecko Snipers. Quality 5, Defense 5, Primal Strider. They got sniper rifles, just stock ones, 30-inch, reliable AP1 takedown. The option of a Bane Mark, very expensive on a very easy to kill unit. Maybe not. Gecko Snipers. So they're a slightly cheaper sniper than normal, but they don't have stealth and they don't have scout. They're just 3 geckos deployed. What do you think about Gecko Sniper?
It is unfortunate. It appears we've got to the part of the list where I have to start saying, yeah, I probably wouldn't
I can say these
take.
aren't good.
They're just not. They're cheap.
Unless you need snipers, if your enemy is doing something
Yeah,
that requires
uh,
snipers.
this is your only choice of snipers in the list.
I hate they don't have
Um,
scout. Because
no,
snipers need that to counter deploy the thing they want to shoot.
exactly. I mean, they are 30-inch, so there is some wiggle room, but it can be hell with obscuring terrain on the board. That being said, I do wish these had a little bit of source. Either, yeah, scout or maybe some other rule that could make them more interesting. I don't think surprise shot would be really helpful.
No.
But I wish they had a little bit of source because to me, these are the Jackal Snipers from Halo. So I really want to field some on the board. I probably will. But yeah, if you need snipers, they're there.
Definitely not a must take.
Not a must take. Probably a almost never take. Unless you need snipers in your meta, then this is your only option.
And too expensive for Bane Mark, right? Too easy to
Yeah,
kill
on a
3 quality
Def
5
5.
models.
Yeah, no. No.
Alright, let's go to Deinonychus Riders. Quality 5, Defense 5, Bounding, Impact 1, Primal Shielded Strider. They come with AP4 Lancers, and you can change those Lancers to AP4 Pistols. Alright. So I actually like these, and I'll explain why. I have massive problems with my own cavalry missing key things that they need in order to function. So my combat bikers in HDF, they do not have Strider. They do not have option of Scout, and they are Defense 5 with no way to improve that. These guys, and they have Strider base, they have Defense 4 base. They can have a hero that's pretty cheap that can give them Scout, so they can deploy right in the enemy's face and get a turn 1 charge. And these guys have AP4. So in combination with the impact, they're going to do very well into low quality, low defense units. They're just going to clean them up with that impact, hitting on quality 2. And they can threaten other things with their low quality AP4. I like these quite a bit. They get a discount for bounding. Now, bounding does suck. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Should we talk about bounding?
Yeah. So, as a part-time Jackals player, all I've got to say about bounding is, God, it sucks. Any unit that would have fast otherwise just has bounding instead, barring the hounds. In this particular case as well, it's a little bit frustrating because
you do get a discount for this rule.
You do get a discount, granted, 100%.
Why do we get a discount?
Because to get the same speed as fast, you need to roll the maximum value on that D3. So 1/3 of the time, you actually reach the 16-inch charge. The rest of the time, you are just subpar fast.
And you have to assume when you're setting up your charge that you're moving 14 inches, that you rolled a 1. You have to assume that. But your enemy has to assume that you could roll a 3. So they have to assume you're moving 16. So it's this really weird situation in the board where you don't really know what's going to happen until you activate them, and then you just see, like, okay, what am I actually in range of? And you can kind of play around it a little bit, but yeah, it's an interesting sort of unit. You just have to stay out of 17 inches from them, even when they might move 14. But yeah,
I guess if you wanted to use a charging unit as a zoning tool, is a thing.
And they're cheap. They're quite cheap for this.
They are. Yeah, looking at it specifically on these guys, I think your opponent doesn't get too scared about them because they're not that murdery compared to a lot of the rest of your army. So trying to stay out of charge range of these guys might just sort of
until the Ripjawdactyls have their say.
Until the Ripjawdactyls have their say, of course. But it's the same as the geckos on foot, right? These are single attack per model AP4. They only hit on 5s, but sometimes you're going to roll 5 5s or 5 6s, God forbid, and then get primal. And then the AP4, so they pretty much all wound.
And if they only were that, then I wouldn't like them as much. But this impact gives them some reliability. They can do one job very reliably, which is mulching low quality, low defense squads. They can just beat up recruits and swarms and other things with their impact, and they will almost definitely do that. I think they're pretty cool. They're definitely not a must take, and you kind of have to build around them a little. They like Ripjawdactyl support with the +1 to hit. It's kind of like having a backup Gecko squad. This one, if your Gecko squads get picked up, then these guys can still go into that squad that's been given the +1 to hit buff and still do their job.
Well,
and they're fast strider. Well, not fast.
Yeah,
they're bounding strider.
Yeah, they do have. The good thing about them having AP4, like the geckos, and unlike the geckos, is that these ones are melee, and as is the nature in OPR, melee is just more decisive because of the way the morale system works and the possibility of a rout. So these will clean up something that is already stunned, already shaken, or pretty solidly get the check for shaken for a squad that's already wounded. These will also like outfight your average infantryman that's not built for melee combat. That's just doing their one attack per guy. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. They're a good squad. I'd struggle to put them in just because there's so much other source in the list that I'd rather take.
There is one meme unit that you can do with them where you can actually put a Ripjawdactyl in them, and and then you scout it. Let's just spend all the points, and then you get a first turn charge. Get a first turn charge with precision target, heavy impact, all these impacts, and you're going in with scout.
That doesn't work.
Why not?
Because you don't get the benefit of fast or bounding.
No,
because
it's by model.
Teleport.
And so it's fast.
The problem is, though, that the bounding has to happen first.
That's fine.
Because it's...
And then the fast move just moves 4 inches. So whatever they're doing, he's moving, with them.
Yeah, but if you're trying to get the charge with the extra 16 inches, it's dependent on the bounding, not on the...
Oh, of course. But with the scout, anywhere within, 2 inches into the opponent's deployment, you're getting the first turn charge.
So there's the thought process here for you that you're getting that precision target on the same activation?
Yes. With a heavy impact and a unit that can keep up with them. You could run him with a bounding impact Deinonychus for 80 points less, but then you don't get the +1 to hit on your AP4, and he can also bring the shock lance that you mentioned to bring another 3 AP4 attacks. Yeah. It's something. You could run him cheap, I guess. You don't have to bring the Ripjawdactyl, but it's much more reliable to get that +1 to hit on the activation. I'm not recommending running this in tournaments, but I think it would be funny. Just run people over with geckos.
Yeah, geckos on ponies. Dino ponies.
Let's have a look at some Raptor Riders. Quality 4, defense 3, fast, fearless, primal, ravage 1. They've got 12-inch pistols. They got 2 close combat attacks. You can change the pistols with 5 points each to get 2 attacks, rending. And you can replace all of the close combat weapons with either thrust, AP1 rending, or 2 attack AP4. And of course you got fast, but not strider. Interesting unit. Interesting unit. I don't like Ravage. You like Ravage. Do you like this unit?
You are just... I'm
a Ravage hater.
Yeah, I hate how wrong you are about this.
That's fine.
Yeah. No, so I think we've probably had another unit that's had Ravage before, but 6 is 1 dice per model on a 6. Target takes 1 wound. Wound, not
hit.
Not hit, meaning it bypasses defense. and the hit roll. I guess the hit roll is the 6-up.
Hmm.
So this goes straight to, if they've got regen or something like that, they may have a chance to ignore it, but otherwise this just kills a model. So each dice is a just 1 in 6 chance to kill a model. That's a pretty good rule. It seems not great because it's a 6 only, but there's going to be times where you roll a couple of these and you're picking up models
Could
before
have been
you even
impact.
roll your attacks. It could have been impact, a 2-up hit, which is a 5 and 6 chance, versus a and then dependent on their defense, which
Correct.
could be a 2-up defense, and if it's a 2-up defense, it's even less likely. But yeah, I mean this does bypass it, and there will be times where you roll multiple 6s. Whether or not it's better than impact, the other niche that this comes in is this works defensively too, unlike impact.
Doesn't an
You don't have
impact into quality, an impact into defense, to have almost the same chance as Ravage of going off? Just like,
it's 5/6 of the chance, so yeah, it's
and it
pretty
murders
likely.
all the other squads.
But yeah, this works defensively as well, which was the
True.
other
That's
point
true.
that I was getting to. Yeah. So you don't have to be the one to charge for this. Now, of course, being a cavalry unit, you probably want to anyway. But notable downside of this particular unit as well, no Strider.
No Strider. Big. And I do not like fast units without Strider. It's tough. I do like fearless units, quality defense 3, quality 4. That's
Oh
good.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
And
And
the volume of attacks on like a cavalry style unit with this high quality defense is intimidating. This is a very potentially very scary unit. High mobility, really great. If there's any difficult terrain on your board, though, your opponent can just turn
dance you
these
around
up.
them forever. Um, yeah, they just can't go on that side of the board. They have to go somewhere else. But I like the thrust weapons for these guys. 2 attacks
Oh yeah,
with thrust on 10 guys, 20 thrust attacks, quality 3, hitting on quality 3 with AP1. Pretty
hmm
good. For not too expensive, defense 3, fearless. It's not bad. I'll put it that way. I don't really like Ravage, but you know what? You can probably get some value out of it because they can go into some nasty things and potentially spike a little bit, and the AP1 thrust quality 3 is going to help a little bit. But yeah, they can. This is a bully squad. Not bad. I wish I had Strider. Would you scout this?
um,
What's the nastiest Saurian we can bring?
you probably could. I hadn't
Oh,
tried it. Uh,
they don't have protection feet. No, they don't have it. Dang.
I will note still on the charge, thinking more about Ravage versus Impact, it is also worse against non-defense 2 stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
anything lighter than defense 2, even with having to roll the save after the impact just outperforms it
Impact
anyway.
Mogs Ravage. But that's okay. Not every unit could be the same.
Yeah,
Um,
I do still like it. There's some other places where they get it for a better chance to hit, where it's not quite Ravage. But a lot of the time that will be hits instead of wounds. But it's an interesting tech, and I think it could be used better. But yeah, you
what?
can run these guys with guns too. You can do pistols.
Yeah. So one of our players was thinking about running mass spike pistols with a counterattack aura. Um,
Yeah,
so you can have it as a shooting unit that gets right up close, and if you dare attack them, they'll swing into you with something nasty, which is a pretty
yeah,
cool concept as well. Because you
yeah,
can run a Saurian Veteran with them with the counterattack aura for pretty cheap.
yeah. Now it's a fast unit that runs around shooting things, and then can't be charged without fear, and that is actually probably a better use for them, given again Ravage works on the defense.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, the Ravage trigger too.
Yeah, so think of this like a
Primal will
high
trigger
move.
too. They're actually pretty nasty on being charged.
They are.
It's interesting.
So actually, I hadn't thought of that, to be honest. I forgot that our mate did that. But yeah, this would be where I'd use the counterattack more than the Guardians.
Yeah. How interesting. Yeah, not many notes. They'd love a Furious. if you can get that Furious buff on them and they've got quality 3 attacks with the thrust and primal, then yeah, you're cooking. Yeah, pretty cool unit. Pterodactyl Riders, quality 5, defense 5. They have ambush, fast flying, impact 1, primal, shielded, tough 3. They come base with 3 just normal attacks. And you can replace the shields to get some ranged weapons if you want it, or just get a pistol and keep your shield. And they have crossing strike. We've done it, everyone. We found the first usable crossing strike. Here it is. Once per game, once during its activation, when this model moves through enemy units, pick one of them, roll X dice. For each hit, each 4+, it takes 3 hits with AP1, and they all get it. Amazing! Click. It's good.
Yeah. It basically doubles the damage output of the squad.
Yeah, that's actually pretty scary. I like it. I wouldn't necessarily take Pterodactyl Riders, but if I took Pterodactyl Riders, I would definitely take Crossing Strike. That's cool. And these can, they're fast, and so they can drop this on one unit and go charge another really weak unit. So you can cause two morales potentially. You can just really mess up one unit by crossing over and then charging them on the other side. Oh
yeah, with a 16-inch charge range and flying, it's definitely quite possible. But yeah, I mean, being able to charge something out of ambush and
they have impact 1. Just that little bit of reliability.
I mean, it's the equivalent of 7 attacks per model. If you're counting in crossing strike, all of its potential hits, not including the multiplication from primal, that's a lot of attacks per base. And at a unit that's 50 points for that base, 7 attacks, it's pretty decent. The attacks don't have a huge amount of quality, and there's no way to improve the melee quality of the squad.
I wouldn't overinvest in this squad. This isn't a bomb squad. I think just 150 points for an annoying squad, that's fine.
Yeah, I think this is your ambusher. To be honest, there are other things that can ambush, but this is 150 points, and it will take something light off a objective in the side field.
Yeah,
so,
bully a backline shooting unit.
Exactly.
And then it's still a fast flying unit with 9 wounds and defense 4.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so it's fine.
Yeah, an option, definitely not a must take.
We got Ripjawdactyl Riders. So quality 5, defense 5, ambush, fast flying. They got heavy impact 3, which means they get 3 impacts at AP 1. They got primal, shielded, tough 3. They only have a single attack each, where these impacts are coming in. They have the same options for a longer range rifle or a pistol and keep their shields, and they have a precision target 1 that they can put down. This is the only unit, apart from the Gecko leader, that can get this. So you strongly consider this unit, in my opinion, if you're running lots of geckos and things, because this really ramps up their damage. What does it do? Once per game during this model's activation, pick one enemy unit within 36 inches and line of sight of it and place X markers on it. Friendly units get +X to hit when attacking it. Rest of the game, expire. Ooh, for 25 points, I'll take it. What do you think about Ripjawdactyl Riders?
So, as we discussed, the equivalent Gecko leader on a Ripjawdactyl to get that precision target comes out to 170, versus this at 195. Just fact checking me. Oh yeah, sorry, factoring in as well. You put primal boost on it, and
he's 125 if you just run him naked, but you kind of want to put some upgrades on him.
Yeah. But the net result being, either way, he's quite a bit cheaper to get that precision target onto the field.
But he misses out on 6 impacts.
But he does miss out.
Big.
He does. That heavy impact is a great rule.
It's pretty scary. Just 3 guys and the heavy impact 9 AP1 impacts hitting on 2s. That's there's squishy squads that are very high damage that will hate this, and goodness, you combine them up and you get 18 of these, then yeah, you're threatening anything. And And yeah, combined up with a precision target 1, you put a +2 on anything for the rest of the game. Key point with this, sorry, it's at any point during its activation. So you can, if you wanted to hide them, you could move out and move back. Because you could just move it and say, at this point in my movement, I'm going to fire it off and then move somewhere else. Or during a charge or whatever you want. But a lot of flexibility in how you fire this off. Yeah. This unit needs to be protected, though. You charge these out of Scout as a first activation, which terrified me. You almost killed them. Almost ruined my game. So think about whether you're going to ambush them or if you are going to put them on the board. Just make sure that there's no scouts that can charge them first. If you're paying for this precision target and you've got units that are waiting this precision target, you did not want to lose this unit before it sends that off.
Yeah, I don't think you'd take Ripjawdactyl Riders without taking the precision target.
Yeah, I think so.
Because if you kind of want,
but this is
heavy impact is great, but I mean, if you want a lot of like you want a flying charge unit, you take those Pterodactyl Riders we talked about just before with their crossing strike. They do a similar amount of damage just because of those crossing strike. But yeah, the fact that this can carry that precision target and the fact that it gets blasted off at the start, turn 1, whenever, and then this unit's so much less of a priority target for your opponent. Yeah, it's good. It's front loaded.
But it's still, you have to respect these heavy impacts. That's no joke.
Yeah.
Even later in the game. Cool unit. I like it. But they are fragile. Even with defense 4, the quality 5 morale, they're going to fail that. So you're just going to have to get their value straight away.
Yep.
Let's go to one of your favorites, Gators.
Yeah.
So, quality 4, defense 3. They got fearless, primal, tough 3. They come stock with 2 attacks, AP nothing, and then they get 2 bludgeons each with attack 1 and thrust, and you can start changing them out. So they got protection feat base, which is incredible. Click it. Just click it, and then figure out how you want to run them. So they can run 4 shotgun shots each. If you want, you can go AP1 rending with them. You can go just straight AP2 with them, and you have the option of limited missile attacks, 1 each as well. How do you like them?
Yeah. So interestingly, comparison-wise, looking at the heavy shooter and the power knuckle versus the Saurian Guardian, they basically got the same loadout options there. The only real different one being, of course, the power claw as your power sword option. These are the guys that I would run with the heavy shooter. I don't think I'd ever really run power knuckle or power claw.
And max missile pods?
Yeah, of course, and max missile pods as another ranged weapon option. Yeah, so
shots.
If I want a tanky melee unit, I'm not taking Gators, I'm taking Guardians. If I want a shooty tanky unit that just moves across the board, not dying on foot, this is the one. On foot being the key. This unit survives pretty damn well on foot. It is hard to pick up with between protection feet, popping yourself in cover, and if your opponent's trying to use short range units to kill these, then he's getting right in your shooting range, and you absolutely just a super volume of attacks on this. It does push up in terms of cost of the unit.
It's a lot of shots, though.
Yeah, but it is a ton of shots. You throw in the Gator leader, give them the rending aura, and then I just walk them up the board, probably in cover if you can. If not, I wouldn't sweat it too much. And just I mean, you think about that many shots with rending. What was it in the end? 40 something.
So it's 15, 30, 41.
41. It's almost 42. It's almost 7 AP4 hits.
Average
just
would be 12.
Average
would be 15.
Yeah. Yeah. you think about putting that into a tank, you think about putting that into an infantry squad, it's going to kill whichever one you put it into. You can benefit from the +1 to hit from protection tag as well. And as far as value goes, a 640 point unit using it would be good. But to be honest, I can't think of many things this wouldn't pick up off the board, unless the thing that they're shooting at also had protection feet. But unless it's a mirror match.
It's are you ever, would you scout them as opposed to renting when shooting?
The value of renting when shooting aura on these guys as a shooting unit is just too high for me. If I want to scout melee or scout shotgun, there are other options that I'd rather take.
What about as a just a uninvested, just 215 point unit? I think actually they're pretty good for that too, because you have to kill 3 of them to make them you have to do 6 wounds to make them make a morale. Then the quality 3 fearless on top.
Yeah, you can take them as like a minimum size. It's what, yeah, 215 isn't really that much for the amount of shots and tankiness you get out of this unit. The utility as well of the like one of the rounds of combat you get to shoot off the missile pods potentially at a different unit can't really be understated. It's good.
Yeah, I can't argue. They're good. All right, cyber swarms been nerfed. So they're quality 5 instead of quality 6. They're defense 6, primal strider tough 3. They come base with 3 attacks, bane. Swarms are swarms. If you need bodies, very cheap amount of toughness. They're here for you. I'm never mad about strider swarms because they can just run around and do their job for 75 points. They might take an objective for you and just win the game. And they're of course they're an activation. There's some very cheap units though, like chameleons and stuff, which are like fighting for these points. Deinonychus Riders, even just Saurian Warriors. And they don't really do anything else. They literally are just a chaff activation. That's all they can do. What do you think about Cyber Swarm?
Pass. It's even at its cost of 75 points. I get it. It's a cheap unit. If you really need chaff activation, unless you've used all of them, you can get, I think, 25 points for a Gecko hero by himself. He won't
35.
35. He won't technically have the same amount of tankiness, but you can put a little bit
Just
of tankiness
make him
on
teleport, and he's incredible little annoying bastard.
Yeah. I just can't see myself ever using these. This is almost the cost of a Gecko cohort by itself as well. Yeah, just skip. Hard skip for me.
It's 10 points more geckos.
Also, aesthetically, what do you really want swarms in your dinosaur list?
Yeah, I like swarms because there's, in the old fantasy list and stuff, there was like the snake swarms, a bit iconic. But
I mean, what are you going to run them as? Like little Dilophosauruses? Nah, miss me with that.
yeah, but they used to be a lot cheaper, I think, which made them incredible. They were too much value at that to ignore. They're right around the other units now, so you have to make a choice with these.
Yeah, nah.
Let's go to a weird one. The last of the dactyl units. It's a Vulturedactyl. It's got quality 5, defense 6. It doesn't have shielded, so it's stuck at defense 6. Ambush. It's got evasive. Fast, flying, primal, tough 3, and it's just got 3 attacks base at quality 5. And it's very cheap. It's 115 points as opposed to the 174 Ripjaws and 130 for the Pterodactyls. Honestly, though, I'd probably spring for the Pterodactyls. These do compete with cyber swarms though, because these have ambush, evasive, and same quality defense stats,
and fast.
Yeah, they got ambush, evasive, fast, which are great key rules to have on your chaff activation. That's going to be going after
late minute objectives.
But it's a little bit up there. 115. You have to pay for those keywords. And it does nothing.
Yeah.
3 attacks, quality 5 is nothing.
It's just too annoying to kill because of the evasive. Like they can't just put pinging at it because it's tough 3 evasive. It's def 6, so you feel bad even using AP1 shooting at it. So there's that going for it, I guess. But at 115 points, that's a Gecko squad with teleport and Sacred Feet.
And change, I think. You got 5 points change.
Yeah. I just wouldn't. Yeah, there's 3 different dactyl units, which are all tough 3 flying ambush fast things, and this is the one that I couldn't really ever see myself taking.
Yeah, it's not like the other ones. It's a swarm with some extra keywords. You have to think about it like that, and it's not a bad swarm. These are great keywords for a swarm to have. Ambushing late game objective goers are super annoying, especially with evasive. But it's just everything in this list does so much cool stuff. This doesn't it's not contributing to that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
it's just kind of there.
This could be a cool dinosaur instead, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not quite there.
It's not very great journey.
No, not part of the great plan, the old plan. Spiked lizard. Quality 4, defense 3. It's got fearless, fortified, primal, strider, buff 6. It comes stock with arc rockets, which are 18-inch, 2 attack, no AP, blast 3 indirects. And it's got 3 claws, AP 1. You can give it either scout or relentless. So you can potentially get 4 hits out of each of these blasts if you roll crazy. And it's got Bane Mark. This is probably where you're putting your Bane Marks, these lizards, the spike lizard or the dragon lizard. So between the tough 6 lizards, this guy's got the fortified and he's got the option of the long range rocket. And you've got to go scout with him, right? Even with his 18-inch indirect. Imagine moving and hitting on 5s.
Yeah, I feel like with indirect, we always look at it and think, you know, damn, you got to not move this unit. But it is, at the end of the day, most times when you want to use this, it's just going to be hitting on 5s, is the way you've got to see it.
Yeah.
Blast 3 indirect. The whole ignoring line of sight thing has its value in armies, but you really want on something with longer range than 18. At 18 inches, it'll see past the one obscuring building in front of you, which you probably had to move up to see anyway. So you're going to take that negative to hit, and you might hit one of these attacks. It just doesn't feel like it does enough.
So this thing's okay, but it's got a brother, which is just better, sadly. So I wouldn't really take a spike lizard. Would you take a spike lizard?
Nah, I mean,
this indirect 18-inch just makes me sad because, like you said, you are going to move this. I know everyone's thinking I'll scout and I'll never move it. You're going to move it in the game, and it's going to hit on 5s, and you're going to feel really, really awkward with 165 point unit hitting on 5s. You could double down on it and just go relentless and be like, whatever. Vision for 6s, baby. Get those, mass hits. But yeah, let's. I don't think. Is it a no? It's a no for me.
It's a no. It's a no for me.
Let's look at a freaking incredible unit though. Dragon Lizard.
He's done it again. He's found another heavy flamer sentinel.
Instantly recognize this. Quality 4, defense 3, fearless primal, regen, love it. Strider, tough 6. It's got a 2 attack heavy flamer. 3 AP, 1 claws. It's got scout. It's a heavy 2 attack heavy flamer with scout and regen and defense 3 and fearless. And you can run relentless if you want. Relentless is actually not terrible. I love the scout, but I was rolling a lot of primals with this reliable, so if that was relentless, that would have been crazy. But the scout just means you can just bully people with these. Just bully people with the heavy flamers. They can potentially go 3 or 4 with the primal. They go really well. Reliable primal is excellent because it's just very high conversion for those primals. Primal 6-up rolls.
And then blast primal as well. It just
It's
It's
regen
very great.
fearless, so it's just hard to get rid of. This is an excellent unit.
It's so cheap too.
Yeah. I'd have a hard time not maxing these. I'm gonna be honest, they're really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually maximize them. Like in 2K points, two of these I found was like a nice middle ground. Yeah, they'll burn chaff and light infantry. They'll be hard to kill, but you won't be as desperate to hold on to them and have them live.
Your opponent has to be terrified of where these are going to go with their scout.
Mhm.
Um, you can just you can false deploy. So depending on how the objectives go down, you can just put one off in the distance, and then your opponent has to make a choice if he wants to fight for that objective. And one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to underinvest, in which case your one dragon lizard is probably going to kill whatever is over there, or he's going to overinvest, in which case you can just ignore that objective and kill his actual army on the main objective cluster. Um, good, just so good.
Hmm.
No notes, take it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Flamer Scout Sentinel meta continues, it seems.
Yep. Oh, if only this had the sacred protection, it'd be just perfect.
Mm.
All right, let's have a look at another unit.
It's also a feels bad moment for people who have AP4 anti-tank because it's a Def
Regen.
3 regen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's not easy to counter. It's harder to address, and it's got the fearless, which is quite nice. Some nice
yeah,
rules: primal, regen, fearless. These are all good
nothing
things.
like watching the Fearless
Strider.
pop. Yeah,
Yeah, great.
yeah. Moving on.
Take it. Triceratops. Quality 4 defense 2, fear 2, fearless, primal, tough 12, transport 11. I love my tough 12 transports. So what do we got? We got no shooting attacks. It's all melee. So 6 rending and then 4 AP1 stomps. You can add 3 impacts to that, and you can add protection feat. And now we got
Yeah,
a defense 2, fear 2, fearless, tough 12, protection feat. This
has
is
lost
a
fast.
tough transport. It's lost fast. It has lost fast. But this thing is a problem.
Mm.
And it goes really well with those melee squads because it can just slam in, and then the melee squad can jump out. It doesn't care about melee. It will go in and help.
Mm.
I don't think ever run any of these shooting options. None of them appeal. Do any of these appeal? You can make him a caster, which is funny.
Well, they
Um,
replaced the transport is the hardest part.
yeah, and they give you
Yeah,
guns that you're just not going to use. I want to use these.
yeah.
Um,
If you want those sorts of shots, you can get them from other units. Admittedly, I don't think you can get the same ranged indirect that you can from the heavy rocket launcher, but that's quite expensive. And the heavy missile launcher is interesting. Look, if
the
you're in a
unstoppable is
meta,
cool.
yeah, if you're in a meta where everyone runs flyers all day, everywhere, you can go unstoppable. But here's something key that you're going to find about the vehicles in this list. They're all quality 4.
Yeah.
So low shot count, high value shots just don't feel good in this list. Um, Rolling a
Again,
50
they need
50.
Ripjawdactyl support. They just need it.
Mm,
Um, then you're throwing even more points into something that's 500ish points already.
yeah, no.
Um,
Keep it transport. It'll perform an even better role. It's already absolutely slathered in melee attacks, so you want to be running it up anyway. So all those extra range on those guns feels kind of wasted as well. Yeah, like you said, this is one of those cool transport options where it charges and then the guys inside can mop up what's left or charge a second unit. And it continues to be a tough 12 melee unit that's in their face.
yep, with fear too. So it's hard to get rid of.
Mm.
You better charge it with something meaningful. Beat it, which is cool. Normally transports can fold if they're charged in melee. This one doesn't. This one will beat your ass.
It does
Um,
it does feel awkward when you deal less wounds than the transport, or even equal, and then lose because the transport has fear.
yeah,
Um, it's certainly a new feeling. You do pay for all this stuff at 335 points. It is definitely not in line with the sort of average cheap transport of around 200, some even going down to 180 that you see across other lists. But to be honest, in this army, it's all about tankiness slathered onto everything. And protection feat will, as mentioned earlier, save this at its most crucial time while it's still got people in it.
yeah. You almost don't know how to deal with this when its protection feed is up. It's
Mm.
very intimidating to bear down on you. And there's very good, very, very good transport for them. Spinosaurus. Quality 4, Defense 2, Fear 2, Fearless, Primal, Tough 12. It's got 18-inch 2 attack Bane Blast 3s. It's got the same, well, it's got, I guess, 6 Bane attacks instead of Rending and the same 4 AP1 Stomps. You can buy the same impact and you get the option of a Primal Boost buff as well. It's a miss for me. Just because I can't, this doesn't go together well. It doesn't have the protection feat that the Triceratops has. So it's missing those key things, and it's
Yeah.
just mixed. I'm never going to use this Spit Venom. I would have taken a much cheaper unit to do the same thing. And if I'm using this, I should have just taken a Triceratops or something else, like a Scouting
Well,
Tyrannosaur or something.
it's a Triceratops, but you did swap out the transport for a gun. Um,
Yeah, true. Which we said sucked.
basically. Yeah, and I mean you swap out Rending for Bane, and the gun has Bane as well, which is I guess Bane's a cool rule, but yeah.
But you get Bane everywhere else anyway. You can cast a spell for that if you want.
I mean, shout out to two shot blast tank in this list that doesn't have indirect, I guess. Um, but it
Where's
does
my
hit on
protection feat?
no protection feat, hits on fours. It's got too many melee attacks to be a shooting unit. I guess you could walk and shoot with this, and then yeah, get a charge if later. But nah, too many points for being such a confused role.
A dragon lizard will do more damage with shooting for half the price. Like, no, no, too confused. The primal boost buff is cool, but again, the T Rex can do that, and a couple other units that can do that. So don't really need it here.
Mm.
All right, a bit of a controversial one, I think. So Ankylosaurus. Quality 4, Defense 2, Fear 2, Fearless, Fortified, Primal, Tough 12. It's got a monstrous weapon. It's got 24-inch, 2 attack, AP2, Deadly 6, Disintegrate, which means it's against anything it's meant to be shooting at. It's AP4, ignores regen. It's got base 8 attacks, and you can change those to AP4 blasts if you want. Run a Bane Mark, and it can run an Ambush Beacon.
Hmm.
Okay, so everyone will see this and think, wow, there's my tank. What's that been our experience with Ankylosaurus so far?
Oh, look. Ready and I
Missed.
rolled a 2 and a 3. I
Missed.
missed.
Oh, I'm shooting into stealth. I missed. Yeah, I'm rolling 2 attacks on 4. I just didn't get my first turn hit. It's brutal to shoot with this thing, and it's not hard to miss. I missed every shot in our last game, and then on the last turn, I hit one shot and you saved it, and you just completely shattered my morale.
Yeah.
Um,
Rolled that 6.
Now, that is unlucky, but it is consistently annoying. Any quality 4 tank with low shot count will fuck you over often games. Anyone who's got them knows that that's the case. You're paying a lot of points, and sometimes it just won't give it back to you. And this is a critical case of it. Is you think I've got an Ankylosaurus, my anti-tank is solved in my list, but your anti-tank is hitting on 4s, so when you need it, it might not be there.
You can, one thing that's key if you do want to use this, and it is possible to use, and you can precision target it to make it more reliable. These are options you have. There are better anti-tank options in the army, by the way, that aside. The real truth of it is this guy should be in the open, not in cover at all, just
Yes.
like trying to get hit as far forward as possible, and he should be walking forward every turn because he doesn't care about melee opponents. He's tanky
He's
as hell. He's tough
fortified.
12 fortified defense too. He'll stand up to AP4 melee, probably come out of it kind of alive. He's got 8 attacks to hit back with in response, and then just on your turn, he'll get to do his beam cannon.
Just keep
and as you
walking and smash them.
keep walking, get on a point, keep shooting that deadly. It also can't be completely ignored, right? And that's
Yeah, it could hit.
yeah,
It should
and
hit.
yeah, you roll 2 dice and you get both hits. It's AP4 deadly 6 against their vehicle. That's pretty scary. But from the perspective of I want this to solve a problem, that's not the problem it solves. That's not the problem it's ever going to be the best at solving without luck on your side.
You're right. He should just. You think he's a tank, so you should stay back and just plink. He should be just walking across the board as fast as he can every turn, straight to some objective, like you mentioned, and just be shooting along the way. And if the enemy wants to tangle with him, great. That's just extra attacks that turn. Yeah, in that role, he's actually pretty good. But it's just, oh man, I've been let down so often by these twin beam cannons.
There's also that silly niche of which is kind of list tailory. It'll depend on your opponent, but if your opponent shows up every game with Custodian Brothers or Eternals or Dwarves, the Heavy Plasma Burster will
just wreck
be
him.
pretty funny. It'll be pretty funny, right?
Yeah.
Pick up those Dwarves, please. Thank you.
With
But
primal,
it's
starting to get a good chance for a primal on a 4 attacks.
yeah. It's supremely like list tailory. It only works in niche circumstances against specific armies, but I guess you could do it if you wanted to. All comers, tournaments, that sort of lists, I generally give the Ankylosaurus a miss. But maybe he'll perform better for you, especially if you sort of move him up and use him as a frontline tank, as we were saying, and just use his beam cannon as that's what he does on his turn.
All right, let's have a look at their single Titan. It's the Dread Titan. And you know what? It's good. Which is pretty rare for Titans. It's quality 3, defense 2. It's got Fear 4, Fearless, Impact 6, Primal, Primal Boost buff, Tough 24, Unpredictable Fighter, which matters because it's got some AP2 attacks. So if you want to pump those to AP3, that's great. If not, he's going to be hitting on 2s. And yeah, he's 830 points, so he fits in 3,000. And he's not that expensive, and he's pure in terms of what he's doing. He's just going to wander across the board, be almost impossible to kill, and he's just going to smash anything he comes in contact with while providing boosts to things around him.
Yeah,
Great.
Can't underestimate the real problem that we've had with every single Titan so far is that they have a mixed profile, and that they spend a bunch of points to get it, and it just doesn't do anything in the end because you use one profile or the other, you waste the other, and you just rather have more smaller units that deal the same damage and are even more tanky across having multiple units. But this guy, at base, pure melee, he does it all. You have the option to make him worse by spending points to swap his weapons out.
We can get a Deadly 12 Disintegrate, which is hilarious, but now he's 1,045 points. And you've lost Impact, Primal Boost buff, and Unpredictable Fighter, all of which I like. I like all of these. So I'm spending 250 points to lose those and get a 2-shot weapon, Deadly 12. Deadly 12 is crazy. Sure. That's not what I want him for.
Although, admittedly, with a quality 3 base, it actually becomes viable to have low number of attacks. Yeah. So a 2-shot AP4 weapon for anti-tank with
Imagine
deadly.
if you primal this.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So this will actually fight other Titans probably better than they will, even if they're at default built like with guns and melee already, because this will rip them apart in melee, and that super heavy beam cannon's kind of spooky. Deadly 12. Can't
Question
argue
though,
with.
would you have a Dread Titan with the super heavy beam cannon, or would you have 2.5 Ankylosauruses?
I'd probably still take the Dread Titan.
Just for the quality
Um,
3.
quality 3. I mean, you're looking at the same number of wounds, aren't you?
Yeah,
I
same
guess not
wins.
the half. But same wounds, Fear 4. Better melee, better gun. Uh, like if you're playing in Titans, giving it the gun at the point where
Deadly
you have Titans,
12.
giving it the Deadly 12 gun actually puts it in that like Titan confused
No
weapon
one
loadout
wants to be around
range.
Deadly 12. This is butt puckering. Like,
It is.
this will just pick up, one of these gets through and it picks up a Hive Titan, not a Hive Titan, a Hive Lord.
Mm.
Just, okay.
Yeah, imagine I roll 2 dice and then you pick up your Baneblade.
Yeah. And it's quite likely, by the way, that
Mm.
those 2 dice go through. Yeah. Not in normal games, but yeah, if your opponent's bringing a Baneblade, then sure.
Yeah. If you don't really play with the Titans, but you want to use this Titan, then just run him base.
And he's great. That's
Yeah.
a great option for
He doesn't
put him in the
he
middle and
doesn't
just
fit
draw
in until
everything
you
onto
get
you.
to he doesn't fit until you get to 3k though.
Mm.
Mm.
All right, shall we have a look at some army lists?
Mm.
I'll start with mine. Okay. So just all the hits really. So we'll start with a Saurian Veteran. He's got the Tyrannosaur upgrade, he's got Protection Feed, he's got Scout. He's just going to push into the middle of the board, give Primal Boost buffs, be very tough and annoying and a problem, and draw tons of fire onto himself and make the opponent really scared, but not many points. We've got a Gecko Champion. He's on a Ripjawdactyl. He's got the Precision Target, Protection Feat, Shielded, Heavy Impact. Just going to either deploy or come out of ambush, and he's going to send his precision target, and he's just going to go after little weakly protected squads or just vulnerable objectives and things, and just be a chaff activation. 2 Gecko Cohorts, 10-man combined with the protection feat and teleport. Just super annoying units. They deploy on the board, they don't scout. I'm not putting any support into them. They've got enough movement with just their teleport that they can get where they need to go. And they combine up with the Ripjawdactyl Riders and potentially the Gecko Champion to get a 3-up to hit primal into things where they're actually starting to really threaten tanks with their AP4 shots. Just a very versatile and nice unit. 2 units of Chameleons, 5-man, no upgrades. I'm running the shotguns on these guys. And they're just going to go forward and be aggressive with the Saurian Veteran and the Dragon Lizards. So it's a lot of forward pressure on my opponent right from the start of the game. So 3 Dragon Lizards also scouting. They're just inherently good to just drown your opponent in defensive, fearless, reliable AP1 blasts and just destroy his infantry and misdirect him in terms of where he's going to go because everything's scouting. And some Ripjawdactyl Riders. You can decide at the start of the game whether you want to just keep them in your deployment with the Gecko Cohort or if you want to ambush them so they come down turn 2 somewhere else. Just see what's best for you, your mission that you're in. They've got the precision target. And yeah, they're just nice support. It's 10 activations. So max activations, and there's a lot of damage, and it's a hellish first turn with a lot of these forward deployments. And the Geckos and the Gecko Champion and potentially the Ripjawdactyl Riders can get right into the mix as well really fast. So it's just a very aggressive list. There's protection feats all over the place. And yeah, it's just a lot of pressure on your opponent. What do you think?
So the first thing I noticed, your Gecko Champion, you didn't go for a buff or...
I didn't have the points.
Bit of a shame, but no, I mean it keeps him cheap. He's only 135, and he gets you what you want, which is that extra precision target and
A little bit of heavy impact running around.
a little bit, yeah, and also just like a kappa, like him, objective kappa. He'll do that perfectly good. Yeah, I know you're a huge fan of the T-Rex, and it's hard to
Oh, he's so good.
hard to argue with that guy. He just is hard to kill. He'll put in work in melee. He won't be your scariest in melee, so but he'll yeah. Your scouting force here is very predictably a classic Philip design. Half your army, probably more, 3, 6. Yep, more than half your army is jumping up the board from the get-go. But most of your damage source generally will come from either stuff that's in your face, the scouting AP1 spam of shotguns and flamers, or it comes through the Gecko cohorts. So you really are relying on those precision targets to get more reliability out of them.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I can see some potential threats that you might have here against sort of more tanky opponents. You might not have the firepower to get into them, but that's the thing with the Gecko cohort. You can never count out their 5-up quality to hit because they're still AP4 at the end of the day. So I think it's a good all-round list. It'll cover what you need to. I think the other thing reading this and realizing is that it's quite similar to the list that I've come up with.
As
so
I
that's
said,
pretty funny.
greatest hits. Should
Yeah,
we have a look at yours?
yeah, go for it.
All right, take us through it.
All right, so mine's more of a unfocused scattering of the greatest hits. So there's a few more things in there. There's a couple linchpins. There's some stuff that I just threw in for fun as I was sort of filling out the last of the points. But I feel like compared to a lot of armies, even at a more competitive level, you can be a bit more creative and do a bit more silly stuff with this while still maintaining a competitive edge, just thanks to that protection feat saving you from those hyper killing armies. So that was the thought process here. We've got the solo frog mage. He'll just run around by himself. He's got protection feat. He doesn't need to really do much other than cast spells, show up in places. He could charge, he could shoot. He was almost in there just to fill out the leftover points. I went for the Gecko Champion spotter as well. I did splurge on that primal boost buff as well. I didn't end up having the points spare to give him the lance that I like to take, though. Just left him with the Champion Burst Gun. But I really love the Gecko Champion on Ripjawdactyl. He's going to pop that precision target. He's going to fly around and do his own little thing. And he's going to be primal boost buffing whoever needs it every turn. And it just won't be a priority for the opponent. So he'll just sit there. He'll have that survivability. And when he finally does decide to be shot at, he'll still have protection feat. 2 Gecko cohorts, essential. I don't mind them as just 5-man squads.
I was about to say, you went 5-man.
Yeah. So you really like to maximize the threat potential of this sort of unit. I like him just as a squad of little guys because you're going to see 5 geckos versus 10, and you're going to go, well, that's not even worth thinking about. But yeah, I mean, there's every chance that this activation does way more wounds than you think it's going to do, and it almost replaces scouts for me, though in the end I did decide to add 2 chameleons as well, just because, yeah, I mean, they're good. So there's those sort of 4 Gecko units across the 2 chameleons, 2 Gecko cohorts. They're sort of my you've got the chameleons who are out there at the front, and then you've got the Gecko cohort that comes in second. So the game plan theory behind this unit, they work well with the Gecko Champion, is mark a target, either before or after the chameleons, start wiping out some infantry with chameleons, responding to your opponent's activations, and then those Gecko cohorts come in with those low hits per unit, but AP4, so very likely to get another wound. So the Chameleons get them to half, and the Gecko Cohort just pings them past, triggers another morale check. That's sort of my like early 1-2 field plan. If I lose most of these units, I don't really mind. They're not the bread and butter of the list. The bread and butter comes a bit after. We've got the Pterodactyl Riders. I like having an ambush unit. I think I've kept the activations down to just 9.
10.
Oh no, I went up to 10. Yep. So assuming you're versing a 10 opponent as well, the Pterodactyl Riders in ambush drops you to 9, so there's more potential for you to guarantee they activate first. But I'd pay particular attention to that to see how you want to use these, or if the ambush calls for ambushes. Yeah, Pterodactyl Riders, cheap. Don't put more than 3 in a squad. They'll do something. It's a good utility piece to have. Then we get to the bread and butter, the bomb. Yeah. So I mentioned it before. Max shooting, rending with shooting aura, protection feat, just walking Gators. There's not a lot that can kill this, and there's even less that can survive it. I took this only once in my games for testing because the visceral reaction on my opponent when I sort of had this unit that he realized was a big threat. It's sitting in covert, so it's got defense 2 up, fearless, it's tough. So even if he gets some wounds through it, won't even necessarily kill a guy, a whole base. And then it on that turn 2 reaches a good spot to really unload its bullets, and then it just picks up a really scary opposing unit, just like that. And at the end of the day, it's still got all those shots. They're still all rending. It's lost 9 shots total after that, and he still can't kill it. Yeah, it's kind of just really tough to deal with for your opponent. You can rely on it because it's super tanky as well as super killy. If your opponent finds a way to pick it up quick, then,
good luck through protection feat.
Yeah, good luck. They really need 2 hyper killer units, and even then, it's how many wounds is it? It's 24 all
24
up.
wounds, defense 3.
Yeah, probably defense 2 if you put it in cover, if your opponent has something that can scratch it. But yeah, that'll be your main force. Probably stick around 1 or 2 objectives, keep your opponent off them, kill anything that tries to get close, and then the 2 dragon lizards because I feel like they're compulsory.
It's just too strong. No.
Yeah. Def 3 regen tough 6 in your opponent's face from day dot with double flamers, so it's always hidden, always spooking something. It's never not going to be. It's a strong early harass. Your opponent will probably have something equivalent too. It'll kill their scouts unless they've got tanky scouts. But luckily for you, you'll have scary stuff coming up immediately as well. That's generally the game plan. Is push board forwards. Grab stuff. You've got high mobility from the Gecko cohorts, and they're not scary enough. Your opponent's going to be more worried about the Gators that are coming than the Gecko cohorts, just pinging off with such small squads. Yeah, you have a lot of different pieces. You can have a lot of fun. See how they all interact. It is almost entirely shooting based, which you can see the DAO player influence there. Things that I might change is if I wanted to sort of save points and get different units, I might swap out the Gator Vets and Gators with like a Saurian Guardian unit or just a Saurian unit with the carbines, because it's not quite as many shots, 23 instead of 40, but that's actually enough for a lot of cases. 23 rending shots is nothing to scoff at, but this really hits that critical mass of can kill anything in my experience. What do you think?
I think it's good, and it's something that you can do with these geckos that I forgot to mention with my list is you can put the geckos down in your deployment phase, and you've got ambush, you've got scout, you've got ambush, you've got scout, and suddenly you can just put your geckos on, one either side of the board. And if your opponent messes up anywhere, punish, 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 punish. Everything you can just bully wherever he's made a mistake. And the geckos aren't wasted because they can move 18 inches around and they're cheap anyway. So yeah, high scout, high damage, protection feat to save your butt. It's good. Frog Mage utility, you're gonna have to protect him, but yeah, I mean, casting's good.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love that he's got the protection feat just to save him. That makes him quite nice. And yeah, Gator Bomb. That's gonna smash things, which is always perfect, and it's gonna be tough. Can't argue with it. Should we talk about the list as a whole?
Yeah.
All right. So let's just get to it. What are we rating Saurian Starhost?
S.
It's S for me as well.
Hard S.
I didn't even really have to think about it. After playing with them, they make you feel so in the game. Even when things like I had terrible rolls in some of my games, absolutely awful. And I still won, just because you can just sort of push through them with all the scouting and the protection, sacred protection, and the just killer units. It's really, really good. It all just comes together in a nice package.
You never trade Killy for Tanky or Tanky for Killy, really, in the army. It's just everything's Tanky and Killy. You just choose your quality level to go with it.
Interesting units like the Gecko Cohort. It's just such a goated little unit.
Explaining it to someone else that, what if I told you your cheapest unit had all plasma guns? And my friend said, what the fuck?
Yeah, with teleport. Which is an incredible little rule. And they got protection feat, which is an incredible little rule. And they're still cheap. Yeah, it's a really good list. And you know what's cool? It's not a really strong list because there's like one or two strong options. It's a really good list that has great internal balance. There's a couple of units that are like, not really that amazing, but there's a lot of units that are just like, this is awesome, this is cool, this is awesome, I can use this. Just lots of really cool units. So if you're excited about this army, there's lots of different ways you can run it. That's always what I want to see, is nice versatile army with lots of strong different options, so that your opponent can't peg you before you come, because you might bring something completely different and it's great. But it's also fun for you. You're not just pigeonholed into the same thing.
Yeah. To feel competitive with this list, you don't. I can't see it ending up as a very restricted choice of what the best options are. Even if you take not just the stuff we called must takes, you're still gonna have super tanky, super killer units. You're still going to be able to get onto objectives and hold them and keep people off them. Yeah.
Just take some protection feat. See protection feat. It's just start looking strongly at that unit. And if you have the option to take it, take it.
Yeah. I mean, if you take out protection feat from this list, where do you see it ranking?
Well, that takes out a whole bunch of the conceptual power of the list. For me, it their combination of scout with protection feat gives them the ability to over threat someone else trying to do the same thing. You can just outvalue them in that initial engagement, which is where a ton of their power comes from. So if you took protection feat out and you just didn't replace it with anything, then it goes way down. B, low B. They still got fearless and nice units and geckos and stuff, but man, that protection feat just puts them over the top for me. Where would you put them?
I was thinking B as well, but then when I consider some of the units, even without protection feat, are quite high class. Like the Gecko Cohort with protection feat is funny. How needlessly tanky it seems to be, but even without it, it's still just as good a unit. And I feel that way about a couple of them. So I think high B, maybe even low A, um, as an army outside of that. But that being said, protection feat specifically is just straight S. Without a doubt. It didn't take much consideration, just seeing how that rule makes them result in gameplay. I've spent a while trying to sort of crack how to beat it, and I think the best I came up with was we ended up playing a game where I brought out dwarves, knowing that you'd have protection feat just to have something even tankier that stayed tanky forever. And even then, it was fought to a pretty close game.
And I was rolling trash.
Oh yeah, every single morale you failed, I think.
And it
I
was
don't think
still a draw. It was
Yep.
crazy. And literally it was the protection feat. You'd throw whatever your 2 attack AP2 shotguns were and just throw like 23 attacks into something, like Saurian Warriors, for example, and they should be dead. But protection feat, no, sorry, not dead.
Yep.
Do it again, which just keeps you in the game. And it takes with dwarves. You may only have 3 shooting activations, and you just took one of them. You just took one of them away from them, which is huge. It's yeah. We're gushing about protection feat, but it's worth gushing about. When you feel it on the table, it does feel. It does start to take the game at that point, because your opponent has to think like, how do I get through this thing, and then you've got to think, how do I get the most value out of it? So I just ruin my opponent's activations.
Yeah, it's like imagining, in a because this is 1-page rules, so it's 4 turns max. Protection feat keeps them on the board for a whole extra turn, most of the time, which means it's like a 25% improvement across the board, because you tend to take a lot of units with protection feat in terms of army survivability. You just get to live, and that's always earlier in the game too, so where you end up popping it. So you end up just being on the board for longer, and being on the board means they're trying to scrabble and kill you at the end of the game when they've already lost a bunch of their army too. So they're not having the same sort of damage output. We are just largely gushing about this rule. Aside from this rule, great, interesting units.
Good infantry, very
really
nice
good infantry. Some sort of subpar vehicles. With
the exception of the dragon lizard, which is incredible.
Yeah, the dragon lizard and the Triceratops are particular standouts. Also, I don't think the T-Rex is especially a standout by himself, in the absence especially of protection feat, but the fact that he gets 5 points makes it a
5 points on tough 15 defense 2. So good. This guy's got AF Scout. This guy's so much of a problem for 435 points. He's not. That's fine. He is so annoying though. He's so annoying, which is great. I love annoying. Yeah.
I've noticed.
What? Any other things that we should be telling people? Oh, Ripjawdactyls. So yeah, be thinking. You need to think about this precision target. Whether you don't have to use it in your army, but there are units that really appreciate it. So if you are running those units, you should be considering it.
I think especially when you do something like you did, where you've got 10-man Gecko cohorts, I think then you definitely want to use it, because you're obviously investing in the unit a fair bit more. Whereas when I took sort of minimum size, I cared less about it. Because I had less low quality shooting. But then again, that +1 to hit affecting the Gators as well. Big difference, because Gators are only a flopped hit at the end of the day. Yeah. If you like Halo, these are the Halo Covenant miniatures. If you like
Lovely
lizard
space
men,
lizardmen. So cool.
yeah,
I never even considered the concept. I guess in the lore they did kind of go to space, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
yeah,
I'm a fantasy lore, but yeah, what a cool army. I'm so glad it exists because I get to put my lizardmen down and still play Grimdark Future without having to bring over a fantasy army. Cool.
yeah. It is a bit strange when they've all got square bases, but you know, it's OPR. Who cares? We're there
So
to have fun.
Saurian Starhost players, congrats! You have an excellent list. Hope you enjoy it.
Hmm.
That'll do us for this week. Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah. See ya.